set the standards from shit that you used to stoop to. Avoiding all the damage and types that you used to shoot to. Got no roof for baggage, little baby, I'm in a coat too. College educated, so nah, I won't lecture. Self-sabotaging, I won't let you. Figuring it out, no problem, I won't test you. We got plenty time, no pressure. I don't even need much, baby, I make do. Never speaking on nothing I can't relate to.
What's that mouth? It's your boy Laughing Man. That was Twan Jackson. Shout out to my boy Twan Jackson. Overall 99 original. Still part overall 99. This is my boy Twan Jackson. And today we are talking about Agatha All Along, episode 7. Keeping 99 reviews. And of course, I'm joined with the lovely, beautiful queen herself, Miss Ebony Moonbeam. How are you today, Ebony?
I'm good. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm good. It's spooky season. We're almost at the ultimate climax of not only spooky season, but Agatha All Along. This honestly was one of my personal favorite episodes. So I'm excited to talk about this and the last 2 episodes that we didn't get to do a full review on. So I'm here. I'm ready. I'm excited. I've missed you.
Let's go. I missed Ash too. It's been a while. Miss Ash, things been busy. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it make sense today. By the way, watch that. If you haven't, it's on the Make It Make Sense, the podcast channel, not the regular, the podcast where you'll probably see Ebony today. Maybe see me if I don't go to this haunted house, but I will let y'all know. But it's spooky season. You might have to go to a haunted house with your work friends. Gotta do relationships.
Not going to a haunted house with my work friends.
Shout
I did go to the pumpkin patch though, so that's. I like the pumpkin patch. Don't give me too much.
Nah, I ride with the pumpkin patch too. Let's go. Ain't like some dude in a suit trying to hit you, make you closer when they have the chainsaw next to you with your work friends. Y'all can work better together.
Right.
But
sorry, I just peeped like the background of my. That door was open. Okay.
But we do have Agatha All Along. Again, this is episode 7, Death's Hand in Mind, in which you will learn a lot. But first, we're gonna go over a quick review of what we missed. Episode 5, Darkest Hours, Wake Thy Power. We see they do the Ouija board. We find out a little more in this episode about who is who. We kind of got a hint at who is who from this episode in that episode as they bring it back up in episode 7. But we see Agatha's mom show up as a ghost, and they all want to get rid of Agatha. We also see Teen awaken some powers with a crown on his head that looks very familiar. Evan, how you feel about this episode?
I enjoyed this episode for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, the reveal at the end was top tier, and it just kind of validated. Right, it was great. Like with the music, the crown, all of that. It was really good. It basically confirmed what majority of viewers were already suggesting at and stuff. And I don't mind these type of not spoilers, but fan theories that come true. Sometimes they're done poorly where you watch things and you're like, I see what's about to happen and I'm mad that I see what's about to happen. They didn't do a good job of it, but I think that both WandaVision and Agatha have done a good job of keeping the suspense going. And even though we may know exactly who a character is or is going to be, whether it's based off of comics or just our own personal fan theories, I like that even once it's revealed, you don't feel disappointed that you knew all along. Pun intended. Pun intended. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I thought that the pacing was good on it. I think that we got little hidden gems here moving forward. Everything with Rio and Agatha during that episode was really intense and interesting because I'm still trying to figure out if they love or hate each other or if it's both of them. And so, and their history, I'm hoping that we get more of a backstory of their relationship in the show. But I'm really thankful that we were right about Teen.
So if y'all don't know, as if we go into Familiar by Thy Side, episode 6, Teen, we see that Teen is at his bar mitzvah and he meets Lilia and she gives him a sigil, so that's why the sigil is there. It wasn't some power he had, so we figure out how the sigil got there, which is a nice thing. He meets Jen. Well, he doesn't meet Jen. He sees Jen on the thing. Like, this is one of my favorite people because Teen he's gay. So we find that out in this episode.
Like he's gay.
Find that out in this episode. And then he goes through his
Hey,
story.
Jordan.
Shout out to Jordan. But we find out all this information that came quickly, and Teen and Billy coming through, doing their own thing, trying to figure out who he is, and which we learned in episode 7 more about, because he still don't know who he is yet. Which is a great entendre for a show, by the way. It's a great little map of don't not knowing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you feel about Familiar by Thy Side? Which Teen is called a
So
familiar, the pit, of course.
the pet, right? So I like the play on words, and for me, this episode was because this was the last episode, episode 6, where we get the full backstory. With this, there was a lot of hate online about this episode. And I ended up going back to rewatch it because I was like, did I miss something? And maybe it's because I don't mind slow burns. And I felt like that episode was just like a full slow burn episode compared to what we've been getting out of Agatha this season. But I think that there were some misses there. And as we go into episode 7, I will explain it more on where I felt like the solo episode for Teen fell short compared to the solo episode for Lydia didn't. And the performances and stuff, I appreciated the backstory, but there was some aspects that were a little bit disjointed. And I think it's because Teen still doesn't fully know who he is. And because we didn't know that, there were certain things that they couldn't reveal to us without giving us a much bigger picture. And they didn't want to do that. But it was a solid episode. It was probably the least interesting episode for me of all of Agatha All Along. Well, sorry, not interesting, entertaining. I liked that we got to see all these encounters that he had with the rest of the coven. So I really like that aspect. I want to know more. I want to know more. And I felt like that episode left us hanging a little bit.
You can say it's a lot of it was boring, but it did
It
have
was
my
boring.
favorite.
It was a little
but
boring.
it did give me my favorite moment when Catherine Hahn was still the police officer, and she
I
slow
like that.
kicked, and she slow kicked Teen. He's like, stop kicking his body. You don't have to be so fast. She slow kicked him and start talking like she's in a movie. Who are these people? He's like, they're flowers. You just put your flower, and she looked insane.
I know that now that
That was my
aspect
first
of the
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so that aspect of the episode was my favorite. Watching the whole encounter because we saw it from Agatha's perspective when she's still like under the spell.
When she
And
kicked the chair, and
so
then the whole chair fell, but it was like a slight
right.
kick.
So it was really funny because when you watch it in episode, I think that was 1, maybe 2, you see like it's super dark, it's really intense. And then when you see it from Teen's perspective, it's a lot quirkier.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like funny. He's like, oh, I think I'll just try and do this. Oh, like he's falling out of the window. He's like, oh no, please stop kicking me. Yada yada yada. So I really liked that juxtaposition of the 2 episodes. Like I think that if I go back and rewatch episode 1 and then rewatch episode 6, I will like it even more because of the duality of the point of view of each character.
I do too, and I did like some of the callbacks to it because we did get Ralph Boner. By the way, Agatha was in a Ralph Boner family reunion shirt, which was hilarious. And then we saw Ralph Boner again, and he can read. Teen can read minds, So be like, please don't ask about Agatha. Tell me about Agatha Harkness. Damn, you asked me about. And that I like
Right.
that part too. But when they got past that section of him figuring out the Agatha part, the beginning of it was very slow and boring. They really slow played it. They really slow played it and then try to make it more emotional, in which I don't think episode 6 did as anywhere near a great job as episode 7 did in making it emotional. But the funny moment when
And
they went for funny, it worked in episode 6. But when they went for serious, it did not work at all.
and I think that some of that could just be, it's not just writing. I also think with experience, um Lilia, because her ex, sorry, I just got like super tongue tied. I really, I think that some of it is experience. She's been in the game for a very long time. I've been watching her forever.
Patty been for a long time.
Yeah, she's not, she's a seasoned actress, and I feel like she was able to pull from her experience to get the point across and to give us those emotional moments while also still maintaining in other moments her kind of kooky um demeanor compared to Teen's character, where I feel like if there was, even with good writing, I think it would have felt a little flat anyway, just based off of his acting experience. I think that he does funny really well. I think he does confused and overly happy almost. I think he does all of that really well, but emotion, that episode really didn't give it to me, and I think it was a mix between both the writing and the acting ability.
I agree. Now let's get to the Death's Hand in Mind. Why is it titled that? Agatha All Along. Let's get to the big reveal that we all care about, that we all knew was that was stolen from us from a toy, but this time it was real. Last time we had Mephisto toy in one division, it was not real, but this time it's real. She is Lady Death, and I'm not gonna
Indeed,
lie,
Lady Death.
she looked cool.
Fire. She looks so cool. She looks so cool. And the thing I hate about this is that I felt like they didn't give us. I don't like overly dark scenes because I felt like it took somewhat away from her actual look. Because
Yeah, this
like
is actually
that moment,
brightened. I brightened this, by
that's
the way.
brightened.
I
So
brightened
when
this.
so this looks excellent, but when you actually watch the episode, it's like you're watching an episode from the battle, like the final battle of Game of Thrones. It kind of pissed me off. I'm like, we finally get confirmation that this is Lady Death, and you give us this really dark. I just wanted it to look better, but she looks excellent, and I can't. And now that we know what she looks like, I'm sure we're gonna get more promo photos of her, which is properly lit. So I'm excited about this. I do have a question though, because you were one of the main people that was saying that you felt like she was gonna be Lady Death after a certain point. Does she look like Lady Death from the comics? Because I didn't really dabble with her and Thanos back in the day kind of thing. So I don't really know what Lady Death looks like from the comics. So I'm curious.
Lady Death has in the comics it usually has a skull, but most of it is it's like a blend between what a Green Witch would wear. They call it the original Green Witch, which Death would probably be the original Green Witch. But and she has a skull for her face. Once you lighten it up, you can see her face is a skull. She has the crown. They use more of a mixture between that and the tarot card, which they showed in the end when she has literally the tarot card. So they try to play both of them based on,
Mm-hmm.
and then they try to play into the original Green Witch and she wearing green attire and all that. So I think they did a good job of making her. Because I'm sorry, you couldn't do the Skeletor version on TV and make
Yeah.
it work.
Well, they probably, well, I think that this was a better, more realistic way to
Yeah,
go about doing it. I think that they could have done it, but did they need to do it? No. I like that, and it's one of the things that I really like about Agatha All Along, as well as WandaVision, is that they make it feel super realistic. So as if these characters are indeed real, they are witches, and this is what they look like. And I think that Agatha does a really good job. They talk about it multiple times in this show, including this episode, the culturally inappropriate versions of different witches and stuff like that. Not having warts and riding broomsticks, all the cliches. So I felt like this kind of may have been played into that. Now I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I thought that that was a good idea to not go overly campy and special effects and CGI, and just kind of keeping it like I'm still a witch, but I also have like I am death, so I am gonna be a little bit scary,
yeah.
and I'm
Like
here for it.
the face riding off image, it all comes back to me.
Right.
The flashbacks were perfect during this scene when they said, "Who was with you today?" and it said death, and she laughed, which we and she
Okay.
just bust out laughing.
I love that. So now that we're in episode 7, let me tell you what I was going to say about 6 versus 7. So, 6 was most likely, for most people, including me, the weakest episode yet. And it's because it's more of like an exposition dump instead of with a little twist at the end, instead of it being like this riveting origin story. Whereas with her character, it's first off, the emotional nodes were better, but the flashbacks. This is probably the most like singular episode that we've. It's the single episode where you're really focused more on her character than any other character. But the way that they shot and decided to go about doing this episode, that non-linear timeline and storytelling was done super well because every time Lilia's character kind of gets loopy and then comes back and she's asking questions and stuff like that. This whole time we thought that she was just kind of quirky and weird, but it now makes sense. And I think that the way that they did this episode, it worked better because of this particular character's relationship to the MCU as well. I think that well, not just the MCU, but Agatha and the witches and finding out all those things. So I think that that was done really well. Um, you can continue now. I just wanted to say why I felt like that's the main reason. I'm sure if you pull up other reasons, then I'll piggyback on it, but
Yeah,
I don't want to
I
spend
like
too
that
much time on
they
it.
didn't just focus on just like different. No, in this scenario, she's going back and forth. In this, you see where she tells them what she said later on the episode,
Mm-hmm.
or what she tells them earlier later on. When she's confused, she's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "You told me about Billy being Scarlet Witch daughter later." And you're like, "When I tell you that, you don't know what she told her that either." But you see it later in the episode where she tells her that when she's like, "I'm finna be gone again." Scarlet Witch daughter, you gotta keep up with me. I'm about to go loopy again. I'm in and out of time. I see the future. Sometimes I go back in the past and future. So when I come back in the past, essentially I don't know what I just told you. So I'll be confused. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I'm not just crazy, because people think I'm crazy. No, I'm coming back from the future and I know things. So
Well,
when
the
you
thing
tell me
is,
about it,
she's not coming back from the future.
well, she
She's
sees the future.
seeing, she's
Yeah,
already basically she's experiencing moments out of order.
yeah,
And so these are things that will indeed happen, which is why she can't change the future. And like the info that we got about her coven and stuff, she can't change the outcome. Her purpose is to be able to help herself and help others along the way, but the outcome is still going to remain the same. And I thought that that was, and a lot of that was just because her willingness to control her own power. And so I think that that was the fact that she has the power to not only experience it in real time, but experience it as in like foreshadowing. but then not be able to do anything with it, and then it play out the way that it does, and then for her to kind of pop in and out like that, I thought it was crazy, but it was entertaining.
And it worked because like
It
each part
worked.
you can tell which part linked to what back. If you go back and like, oh, this part was when she did this and this part, so it linked. It wasn't like incoherent. It wasn't missed parts. It was like, oh, this linked back to this, and it was like, and the
Which
acting
is
was
why I
great.
think the flashbacks were done great because now you understand. Because sometimes they'll play out and explain to you like what this person's power is, but then you have to physically go back and rewatch everything. And I still plan to rewatch everything once the season is over. But I like that they gave us the flashback so you pinpoint specific moments where she had already seen and she was answering or responding based off of whatever she had seen or already experienced. I have a cowlick.
Yeah, before she comes back into her normal self when she's confused or what are you talking about? So it's like a great way to play it. How do you feel about Disney using their liberties of their own characters to dress all
I
these characters as the
I
witches?
loved that. When like the minute Agatha and Teen walked into the castle, I was like, I love this. This is goated. We get the evil witch, which I love that they decided to do that because we got Maleficent and we got the
Wizard of Oz
Sleeping
witch?
Beauty witch,
Yeah,
but well, technically we got two Wizard of Oz witches.
yeah,
And I liked that they did that in particular instead of choosing another one because Lydia is kind of the essence that
yeah,
would always make you think of Glinda the Good Witch.
yeah.
And the way that they interact throughout the season clearly shows that like she sees herself as more good and Agatha sees herself as more evil, and they see each other that way as well. So I like that they gave Agatha the evil witch, the Wicked Witch of the West, and then they gave Lydia Glinda the Good Witch. So I was like, yay, even more
And,
things.
and the potion witch is the apple. You get the apple. So
Yep.
the potion witch
Yep.
is the
Which
apple.
I loved from Sleeping Beauty. If you
Yeah.
guys do not remember, that is the witch from Sleeping Beauty.
So yeah, so the poison apple, the potion master makes it. And Maleficent is fits too.
Well, and then I like how they said that. You got to remember what his powers are, which are
Yeah.
similar to Maleficent's actually. But then when you think about it, they say something. He says specifically, "Well, if the cheekbones fit," and the minute he said that, I said, "Slay," because you're right. Because not everybody can pull off a Maleficent look without adding, as a cosplayer, I know, without adding extra dimension to give that specific look. So I thought it was done really well. And I like that they tap into queerness without slapping you in the face with it. Because a lot of people, even in 2024, are not always fans of that. No different than when you see all female cast or something like the internet is going to be the internet. Bias, bigotry, all of that is still very much a thing, and it'll probably always will be. But I like that they did it in a way where, because there was something that we talked about, I think it was on episode 2 or 3, where even the trailer or people talking about the trailer was like, this is going to be like the gayest Disney show.
Robert Plaza said it, so
Right. Right. And so I liked it, like, yes, it is, but then also, no, it's not, because it's not. I think a lot of things are done in a more subtle and
very
how
subtle,
I
except
would
for episode
consider.
6. Episode 6 said
Yeah, episode
every
6,
other-
which makes
every-
sense
yeah,
because we're looking at Teen and
yeah.
who he is. And so I'm fine with that. But then everything else is just a little dab here and there to give the people what they need without completely turning off all the people that feel some type of way about it. So I like that.
Catherine
And
Hahn.
I was here for it.
Catherine Hahn again does her job in this episode, being like, "Listen, I ain't got time for this. This is bullshit. Just throw the cards on her. It's gonna work out. Just throw them on
She's
her."
like, I don't give a damn. Oh, so I'm glad that you brought her up again though, because I had a question for you. So there's a part in the episode where Tina's talking to her, and then he gets mad and he says, I'm not even sure if you've ever been on the road before. And then she looks a little shocked and taken aback, but she doesn't deny or agree, and she just follows behind him. Do you believe that Agatha has been on the road prior to now?
You know the interesting part? It's an interesting thing because sometimes you feel like she's been there because she knew how to get there.
Right.
No, but and she know like the rules and stuff, but technically you can just hear about it, so maybe not. But
I feel like Agatha is like the best bullshitter of the MCU.
yeah.
Like, and she's extremely lucky. So, like when they were asking, well, how many people can survive the road and shit, and they were like, how many did survived with you? And then she's like, it's almost like she's guessing and things are just working out. She's like, I'm just gonna say that this is what happened, and we're gonna make it work. But I guess that's what happens when you have centuries worth of experience to pull from. But with that character,
You can get away with it.
she can. But I'm gonna see if you bring it up before I bring it up because we still have to get through the rest of the episode. But I have something to say that in regards to Agatha.
She also does a thing in here that probably made a lot of comic book fans excited. She told Teen, your favorite babysitter, which if you know what she's most famous for, is babysitting Franklin Richards. Which is like, that's what she's most known. Her biggest comics is her babysitting Franklin Richards, which is known as like the most powerful non-celestial ever. So when she said, I'm your favorite babysitter, I'm like, that's a good callback.
Franklin Richards is so powerful that the man literally goes to sleep to suppress his powers for like large amounts of time because anytime he's awake, it's like insane. He's arguably the most OP character in the MCU.
Yeah, he's up there with the top 3. Like I say, probably number 1 non-celestial. He was 1 year old, created a universe and put it in his hand and then hid it on his bed. I'm like, okay, sir.
You give me that type of power, I am going to be a villain. I'm just saying. I am. I'm going to be Agatha Harkness in this bitch.
I'm not going to lie. If you give me that much power, I might just be bored.
Yeah.
Like, it's a certain amount of power where, like, listen, ain't nobody can touch me. The Galactus come down, and I just make him my herald and just run around the centuries and make new universes because I'm bored.
If I had that level of power, I'm going to have a harem of other powerful beings that just aren't as powerful as me, but close. And we're going to become swingers. I think that's the only way to keep us entertained.
But you live forever.
With that much power. With that much power.
Who's going to kill you? You have power over death.
Nobody. I can literally do whatever I want to do. That's crazy. Yeah. Don't give me the power to do whatever I want to do. I promise you do not want to give me that power. Ebony Moonbeam sounds all sweet and cute, but really she has like major dark energy. She's a problem.
I feel like you give me my power, I'll just be bored. I'm like, it's literally like it's not even competition. Like, okay, give me some like Sentry power and the Beyonder come. I'm like, okay, it's fun.
Right, this is fun.
But you give me the power to warp reality when I'm bored, and I'm like, this dude's annoying me. Be gone, and he just disappeared. You never existed. Okay.
No, and see, I would do that. I would get fed up, and then I would do that, and then I'm like, I'm telling you, I would be like Franklin. I'd have to take naps. I would take century-long naps, and then I'd get up and be like, "What's the world looking like right now?
They make something cool.
It's not too good. Let's clean it up, or let's fuck it up. Let's like roll the dice and see what happens." Like I feel like we would just make little cards and be like, oh, today we're going to change Mount Rushmore. Cool. Let's do that. Like just little side quests, random side quests for no reason.
Let's go see if aliens exist somewhere. Let me just travel universes.
Yeah. we got nothing but time. Nothing but time.
Which, by the way, Franklin Richards, if he does come in Fantastic Four, he is a big part of the second Secret Wars, not the first one, which would be very interesting to see how that work out.
Yo, if they bring, they bet not. And I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say they bet not because
I mean, if they,
he's not one of those characters I want to see turn into Gore the God Butcher. You feel me?
I think he's just, if he's there, he's just for a reboot. That's it. If he's there,
Like
it's just
you
for an
better just
MCU
only
reboot.
give me baby Franklin. That's it.
If it,
If you give me adult Franklin, I'm mad.
because they gonna want characters to go. Because I think Chris Hemsworth said he only got one more movie. They like, and you want a new Iron Man? They probably just gonna do a whole reboot and just have somebody younger so they can restart it. Because it is that time for the MCU for a reboot. So all the actors getting old except for like Tom Holland. So outside of them, a lot of them old. So I don't know how long they're gonna be doing MCU films. So it's almost time for a bunch of 30-year-old reboot. Because we Doctor Doom, I think y'all can do something amazing with Robert Downey Jr., but you got to reboot Doctor Doom too. So because
You got to.
Robert Downey is old. We see what happened with Noel, which could be fun too. Give us
Which
different
is why I was
versions.
surprised that they decided, like, don't get me wrong, I love RDJ. And anytime you put RDJ in a movie, I'm going to watch it. And it's been like that even before he was ever Iron Man. I've been watching the man at least since U.S. Marshals, at least. And so I'm cool with that. But that's what threw me off about him being Doom was that he is up there in age. And it's like, how much longer is he going to even be capable of working on movies at this scale?
Marvel, by the way, from what they reporting, Denzel Washington in Dormammu is crazy work, but I'm looking forward to
But I am here for it. I'm telling you, I'm here for it. You put Denzel in anything, like okay, and make it believe. I don't even care. So we've talked about this about Denzel. Like Denzel's an excellent actor where he can portray so many different characters, but then also still always be Denzel. And for whatever reason, when it comes to him, it doesn't bother us that like he is just another version of himself in every movie in some weird way. And so I think it make him Dormammu. He has the voice for it.
it. Yeah.
He definitely has the voice for it.
So
So
everybody knew MCU gonna try to get Denzel sooner.
hey, Gladiator got him. They will see me in December because I will be there for that.
People still shocked that Tom Cruise ain't been part of it. So I wouldn't mind him. I wouldn't mind him being the what's the name Iron Man, the one in the silver suit.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind him being that Iron Man. But back to Agatha All Along. Can Patty in that
Patty.
last scene when she was
I almost
little,
cried. I ain't even gonna hold you.
I
I
love being a
almost
witch.
teared up. I love her. She was like, I love being a witch. And oh, the minute she closed that door, I was like, oh no. I was like, I see it happening.
You
But
hear
then
the
she was
little
walking
rat come through the
around.
door? You
No, but
saw death, the
I
death
loved
terror.
that moment though. Her walking around, and it was almost like for the first time after she says that, she's walking around and you can almost feel her energy, like she is regaining her power because she was always so fearful of it because she couldn't change anything. And so that is one of the reasons why she couldn't control her powers, because she was always afraid to look at how she would die. She knew that this was going to be her end, but she never wanted to see how, when, anything, and that affected her powers. So in this moment when she is kind of chastising the seven and saying, you know, when you finish one of these challenges on the road successfully, you're not supposed to linger around like I did. So it was like I just did. You were not supposed to linger around too long, and this and that. And then she flips that card. I'm like, yes. And that was the first moment that I felt like she truly embraced being a witch again. Because when we first see her, she's just pretending to be a psychic. And then she does her thing like kind of nonchalantly. And she's like, going about your business. This moment where I was like, now that's a witch.
Yeah, you get that feeling too, like you just said, because she told her mom that.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, listen, I hate being a witch because I can see y'all deaths. So I hated being a witch and I couldn't do anything about shit. And her death comes for all. Death comes for us all. Which was a thing, which is in the theme of this episode with Lady Death walking with you, the original Green Witch, as they said, which I thought was an interesting take because she'd never been called in the comic book, but everybody comes back to me. Everybody goes to the ground. She hates Ghost. They threw it in your face. I hate Ghost. Why would she hate Ghost? Ghosts don't come to her body, so they don't come to death. So
Mm.
she when every time somebody dies, she stays behind. Every time, like the whole thing with Teen, she didn't show back up. You know who she was with while she was dead. And when all these powerful beings was running around, she was never free. She laughed while they was running around. Everybody else is panicking. She's laughing like this is entertaining to me.
Right.
Y'all can't touch me.
Right. She fine. And I think she was, and then it was also like, they're talking about me.
Yeah,
But it was like, death is here, coming for you. I sure am. What you mean coming? I'm here. I'm here. I'm sitting right next to all of y'all, and all y'all about to die.
plus,
So stay tuned.
she did tell Agatha, "I like being around you because you bring people to me. Look,
Mm-hmm.
you bring body everywhere. Everywhere you go, Agatha bodies seem to lay. So that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she likes to hang around Agatha because a lot of people die around Agatha.
Okay. So we've gotten to the point, so I can say this now.
Yeah.
With Agatha, I feel like with us learning Lilia's story and how she was afraid to embrace her powers, showing that like her powers were uncontrollable for her because she feared looking at how the loop would end or whatever. I think that it is also opening up for Agatha where that her power is uncontrollable too for whatever reason. Because we see that when she first uses her power, her mom's trying to kill her. And then when we see it again, it was on accident. We that she may have actually killed old girl on accident because there's a constant back and forth on if it is by choice or if her powers just run out of control. So I liked that
Alice.
because right, Alice, sorry, because I could not remember to save my life. This was like, oh girl. Can y'all tell I'm from Florida? Okay, so I think that is opening up for what we're gonna find out about the backstory between Rio, Death, and Rio and Agatha, and how they became like so intimately close in the first place back in the day. But I think it's also going to open up maybe us getting some answers about her powers and if she can actually control them, if she's doing certain things intentionally or not.
It's interesting because she told Teen straight up, I couldn't control it. And she looked
Mm-hmm.
serious. And then she went back into a character that she always be because she has to be that character, I feel like. It's like you get it on, bro. Like, I didn't mean to. Then she was like, you evil. Never mind. I'm Agatha. What am I doing?
Well, you know how they say like sometimes like people are perfectly okay with being the villain in other people's stories. And I think that she has just been persecuted after having her coven try and kill her and stuff, all of that. Like, fine, y'all want me to be the villain? I'll be the villain, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm anxious to see the next couple of episodes because I think this was, in my opinion, so far the best written episode
Yeah.
thus far.
Lily did hurt. Patty did
Yeah,
hurt.
it was the showing it from her perspective was genius, and her performance was great. If this is the last I see of Lilia, and Patty LuPone, I'm gonna be really sad about that. I'm gonna be honest. But if you got to go out, that's the way to do it.
But
Because
I think the good MCU shows has that one character like Old Man Loki. I miss him still. Even I love Loki, but Old Man Loki was different. He gave me the original Loki, the Loki from the comic book Bible. He started majestical and just throwing out things, making big old buildings, and I'm like, that's so cool. But they do a good job of doing things like that. I think Moon Knight had a certain character that did it too.
yeah, I got to go back and rewatch Moon Knight, man.
I want to do. Jennifer Kale is usually like a big character here. You think Jennifer Kale dies? Because it seemed like Alice died, the protected in her trial. Every time they have a trial, the person who trials is dies. So Jennifer, they got
I
2 episodes, and Jennifer, well, they got 2 more episodes. They 9. So Jennifer Kale is up next, and she's like, they
Well,
get you next. So,
supposedly the last 2 episodes are the finale. It's a 2-part finale. Or at least that's what I read. I could be wrong, but I think it's supposed to be a 2-part finale. I there's two things that I have in my mind. Either A, she's gonna die, or B, she's going to play a major role by getting her power back because she's the type of witch that can heal and stuff. So, like we saw what she did with Teen and stuff like that. So, but then again, that you know how they say like in a horror movie and stuff like never look back.
yeah.
And I think that that was a little bit of foreshadowing where she could see the exit out of the road and then still chose to be there with her coven. I think it could have been foreshadowing that she's going to die or that she is absolutely necessary to the rest of the story. So it can kind of go anyway. I'm just interested to see which way it's going to play out.
The reason I say that because Jennifer Kale out of all these witches is the only one in the comic book that really mattered. She, for y'all that don't know, she is Johnny Blaze's brother. I mean sister.
Sister.
I mean cousin. Why I keep saying sister? Cousin. She's his cousin. She's part of the cult of Zerad or whatever. Which I'm interested to see if she has a connection to that man who she's shown is that Mephisto who took her power. And maybe something to do with Johnny Blaze. I'm very because it can all go along because she is Johnny Blaze's cousin. Mephisto is Johnny Blaze. Mephisto is rumored to be in this. It's an interesting.
Yeah, but can they give us that in 2 more episodes? That's the question. Can they give us that?
That's my question. Does she die?
Do you think that they're actually going to complete the road in this season, or do you think they may leave us on a cliffhanger?
I think they have announced that Scarlet Witch is getting a solo movie, so I don't know.
They're going to interrupt. Then they're going to finish the road.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They only got what? They only got 1 more trial, right? 2. Agatha's trial and
Agatha's trial. No, but they did Agatha's already.
I thought
they did Agatha's trial. Agatha's trial was when yeah. With the Ouija board. That was Agatha's trial.
For some reason I would put that with Alice because she's a protective witch and she protected Agatha even though it cost her life. So
yeah.
So I was,
but she already had her trial. So technically,
and Jennifer technically had her trial too because that first
she was the first trial.
Yeah. So this wouldn't be her trial. She already won her trial and survived.
But
Miss Hart.
But I was about to say we haven't had a Green Witch trial,
which is death. Which is
death. So
death is the last one. Death is the last one left. So it's gonna be good to see, and we got to see death, which I think the next trial probably would have to be with her because the Green Witch trial is left, and
that's the only thing that's left.
And you're with. By the way, at one point, I kind of figured, we didn't get to this episode. I figured she was the Green Witch because how do you just show up on the road on your own? Because I'm like, they said it's supposed to be hard to get there.
Well, the thing was, I thought that one was pretty. I'm surprised that the characters didn't pick up on that because they were talking about how they were going to continue on without Mrs. Hart. And they were like, can't we just summon another Green Witch? And then they do that spell and then she shows up. So I just don't understand why that wasn't like. Now, obviously, they didn't know that she was the original Green Witch, but Agatha knew that because then later on they ask her, and she says, "What? What can I say? I like the bad boys," which I loved. Yeah. I like the bad boys too.
Aubrey Plaza and Deadpool would be interesting. combination to see.
So good. That would be
So, yeah,
entertaining.
yeah. I know some people like, but she likes women. I'm like, this death. Death likes can like anybody.
Everything.
I don't think she has a. I don't think she likes a certain type.
She doesn't have a type, and I'm here for it.
But
As someone that does not have a type.
Lilia did her job, and I also like the fact that they said they keep putting it that Billy or William doesn't like Wanda because Agatha put it. She kind of gave y'all up to let them people go, so you might not like it because now you don't know where your brother at, and that's what you're here for. And he was like, "That's not my mom. Leave me alone. I got a mom." And then he did ask,
But then he asked if she's
"Yeah,
alive.
did she die?" And she like, and Agatha like, "I don't know."
Maybe.
Maybe,
Yes. No.
yes.
Maybe so.
And
I don't
she's so
know.
good. But as Ash said earlier, Ebony said earlier, she's such a good bullshit that you didn't know which one it was. She just started saying all of them.
And
No.
but then she says it. She even says for herself, if you want straight answers, ask a straight witch. Like, I basically said, I'm gonna say whatever the hell comes to mind in the moment. And I'm probably gonna confuse you more than I'm gonna answer questions. But here I am. I mean, I'm all you got, basically. I'm all you have right now. So
And
I
it's a
thought it was good. I'm glad that we found out why specifically she put the sigil on Billy. Because, when we watched that episode last week, we didn't know why she did it. She saw something and then it was like, and we thought that maybe it was just to protect him, but it was way more than that. It was to give him time so he can, the time that he needed so he can figure out what it is that he wants and that he's a genuine character that has both the desire to find his brother but also learn the craft. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to figure out when they're going to, because I feel like Billy needs to understand that everything that Wanda did, she did out of love. So walking around talking about that's not my mom and yada yada yada, you wouldn't even have a brother if it wasn't for Wanda. She created y'all. Like, please don't do that. Now you can have two moms. You can have a bonus mom, but your mama is Wanda Maximoff. The hell? Put some respect on your mama name.
she didn't want to keep them
Kids
people.
these days,
She
this
didn't want to keep,
generation just does not respect its elders.
you out here giving Tori layups. He ain't even here right now. Shout out Africa coming 765. But I thought this season has been magnificent. I've been enjoying watching this. I actually look forward to
I
watching.
love this show.
I watch it on Thursday. Like a lot of time, even a lot of shows I ain't been able to just sit there and watch right away. I look when I get off work. Just the first thing I do is watch it when it come out. I watch it on Thursday, so I do really like this show. It's a great show, well written, well put together. They lately they 2-2 in the last two between Loki and this. And so you might be back. As I said, get rid of Bob Chapek. I've been begging y'all, and y'all did it. And these the first. Well, this the first two shows, and the Deadpool movie are the first three shows that he's been fully over. Because the other show before that was Echo and all that. Bob Chapek they was already starting. They already written. They already started the process of doing the show. They already recording. So these the first three projects, and so far, looking at the ratings, the last three projects under Bob Iger has been liked.
Has been doing this thing. So
Y'all asked me about Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek took over after Endgame. So Bob Iger was all the way up to Endgame. So now Bob Chapek was in charge starting in 2020 in January. And then people felt like it went downhill. He, like Bob Iger said, no, we're gonna slow down and we're gonna do these shows right. And unfortunately, that leads to Blade getting postponed indefinitely. Which postponed Midnight Sun.
When I saw that, I was like, honestly, y'all should have announced this forever ago. Because I was super excited when they first said that they were giving us Blade, and at the time, Wesley Snipes had made it out of lockdown and all of that stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. Then we found out that they were gonna reboot it and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stand beside it like it's a black vampire. You feel me? Like I'm gonna tune in. But as time went on, And I think I said this with you on To Make It Make Sense podcast at some point where I was like, two things could happen, but I feel like it's going to be the latter. It's like either this going to be really good because they're taking this much time, or it's going to be complete and total ass because they have had to rework it this many times and they can't settle on a script and all types of stuff. And it's been in production hell for like how many years now? At least what, like 3?
It's probably been,
More like 5.
yeah, it's been about 5
Yeah, it's
because
been about 5. So I like them taking it off the 2025 roster is perfectly fine with me because I'd rather not watch y'all butcher Blade.
like they did Gore, we did not like it. Nope.
If
Y'all
they
even got
ever did Blade the way that they did Gore, I swear to you, I
how
would
do,
stop watching all MCU shit if they ever did that. I would
how do
just
you
stick with the shows after that. I'd be like, mm-mm.
and how do you get oh boy to act it as Gore and then not use him effectively? It's crazy because I'm be honest,
That is
when
a
he
waste of Christian Bale completely. That's what pissed me off the most. Like if y'all would have gave me a different actor, then I could at least blame some of it on the acting. It's not the acting because it's Christian Bale we're talking about. So
they did
come
good in
on.
the parts they gave him, like when he was with his family and he was trying, like he killing this part, and then they
Yep.
just made him some weird kidnapper and didn't. He barely talked, and then he just didn't do anything. I'm like, what is he here for? He
And
kidnapped.
that right there is why I always say Love and Thunder was trash.
I'm like, Christian Bale is amazing in this first part of this movie. And what did y'all do? What did y'all do? Just have them.
Least probably prop easily top 3 least favorite NCU movies.
Yeah, it was not that good. But we got Agatha All Along. It's
Mm-hmm.
episode 7. We got 2 more episodes left. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a great show.
I love this show. Every week I get excited to see a new episode, and as I'm watching it, I have a smile on my face the whole time. It's really fun, and like I said, I am gonna go back and find the clip where y'all didn't think that this was gonna do that well, so I can rub it in your faces.
But this is Keeping That Nine Reviews. Agatha All Along, episode 7,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In Death's Hand. So Aubrey Plaza, I will hold your hand. Shout out to Aubrey Plaza. I love Aubrey Plaza.
I love her too.
I love Aubrey. But anything else, Ebony, before we get off?
I got fire green nails for the
Ooh,
original Green Ridge.
I see that.
They glow in the
Fire.
dark too.
Oh, getting a death cosplay.
Honestly, after seeing the episode, I was like, I should try and see if I could pull off a Lady Death cosplay. But Halloween is like Wednesday. But I am a cosplayer, so I can really do it whenever. So yeah. After I saw it, I was like, mm-hmm.
You gotta have the
I
little
think
bow
I
on
can.
top, the knife, the one knife.
No, I got the stuff. Like literally, pull up her picture again. Pull up her picture. Let me see how much of this I actually already have. So the veil, got that. I actually do have a knife similar to that from a completely different cosplay. The outfit, honestly, I could find something similar to that or I could create it. So, yeah, and then the face piece, you can either draw that on or you can actually buy those like half masks that look like that where it just covers the bottom part, but it looks like the skull and stuff because they have those at the Halloween costume stores because I had bought one years ago for to do something random. I don't remember what I was doing with it. But actually no, I still have that. Now that I think about it. Where is that? I have one. I'm gonna show it to you once I find it. But yeah, I'm gonna do her at some point. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm like, they did their job with the crown, the death crown. That's awesome. But Ebony, what can they find you
You can find me at ebony_moonbeam or ebony_moonbeam cosplay on all social media platforms. Like I've said, I'm a cosplayer. I'm an anime shit talker. You can find me on Wednesdays at the Blurred Cartels Round Table, where we talk a lot of anime and nonsense. You can typically find me right after that on Keep It 99 or over here, um, Casual Conversations with Afrocomedy 765 and Zelme. But we have taken a break for the month of October. So we will be back in another week, actually, because that will be November. You can also find me mainly always Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time for the female blurred led podcast Waifu Views. You can find us on all social media platforms at Waifu, Waifu, Views, Views. And we've been doing a full spooky themed podcast for the month. We've done cosplays, we've done a Dead by Daylight game stream. We just dressed up as the Sanderson sisters last week and did a witch themed episode, perfect for Agatha. And this week we will be doing killer dolls. So we will be in cosplay again and we're going to play some games and give you some recommendations and all of that stuff. And we will be having a Halloween episode as well, which will probably be the day before Halloween because we're still getting the logistics down. But most likely Zelme will be there and a bunch of other blurred people that you've seen us on shows together. So that's all I got for you. I'm going to drop some cosplays at some point. Maybe I may just wait until November, like when everything is died down. I'm just randomly gonna give y'all all the Halloween cosplays that I had promised that I didn't do.
I feel it. I feel that. But you can.
Seasonal depression is real, people.
Yeah, I feel that. But you can find me also at Keep It 99 right here. Anything over on 99, whether it's gaming, anime, all that, y'all can still they still arguing. Again, I saw more messages they arguing about which ability they rather have in Bleach from Monte page. So go watch that and watch my boy Monray start an argument, which he's good at over there. So you can go to the anime channel, the gaming channel. Uniqo did do some streams over there. I don't know, I think it was last week. So go over there. That's probably gonna start picking back up. And you can find me at anything Zell May, all that stuff. So I do appreciate y'all. I'll be that news too. We had a show about Mayor Eric Adams and his many ventures on possible crimes linked to multiple churches and schools, which powerful people like to hide their sins behind. But that's all I got for you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have been amazing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are back doing more shows. Looking forward to it. Venom episode might be out tomorrow. I have to go watch it
Mm.
tomorrow because I didn't get a chance to watch it today. So I do appreciate y'all and everything. Peace.